I'm from the integration group, and this is my members, Aka, Libby, and Cindy, the group leader. This is our contents for the Doggy Dash game. We divide into 5 parts, which is design, terrain management, animation, camera module, calculation systems, and some of like jump animation calculation systems, which is highlighted in yellow. They are newly added in our game this time level. And as you can see right here, this is our design for the whole page. And we're using different kinds of assets in the game. Some like 3D and 2D modeling, and text and audio. So for example, you can see right here, the buildings, the bus, the house, they are all 3D modeling. And some like text and the green ground, the blue sky, the bottoms, they are all 2D assets. And let's not forget about the background music, because though we can hear right here, but actually when you're playing the game, you can actually hear it. So if you click the play button in the middle, then it will take you to the game stage, which is all by our design. In this situation, you can control the dog in order to dodge the many obstacles which the dog faces. And the score, which is displayed up there, it will increase this over time while you play the game. And at the same time, you can try to collect the coins. The numbers of the coins will be displayed right up there, in the right side. And this is our terrain design for the game. And there are 3 main types of the terrain, which is with different layout of the obstacles on it. And we only use 14 layers of terrains, which the landscape of the game is made of. And each terrain will spawn randomly. And the reason why we're using 14 is because if we use less than 14, then we might see the end of the landscape, which is like this. But if we use more than 14, then we might be using more memories than we really needed. And I'll pass it to Aka to talk about the management.
And also how they collected the coins. Okay, for the terrain, in order for you to spawn the tile and delete the previous tiles, otherwise if you don't delete the previous tiles, you will run out of memory on your phone. So for that, we need to determine the C position of the players. While the player is moving, we capture the position of it, and through that capturing of that position, that is right here on the top here. If you capture that position, and it will tell you when to spawn the next tile, and also delete the tile that the player has already passed on. Okay, in order for it to spawn the tile, as Scott previously said, it will be randomly spawned. So the tile cannot be repeated. As I have shown on the random side there, if the random index is equal to the last prefect index, it will keep looping until it comes into false, and that the random index is not equal to the last prefect index, and then it will return that. And then from there, it will delete the tiles. At the same time, spawning the tile, and then it will delete the tile that already been passed by the player. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is the animation of the running. Our dogs has only 2 states, and that one of the states is running, the other state is jumping. And the other state we just remove it because we don't need it, like for sitting and all those states. So for running, in order for us to determine everything, so everything works on the dogs as the dogs move along the C plane. So if the dog is not dead, then it will continue to the next one, then you will get the score. And if the score is more than the score to the next level, and we set the score to the next level is 10. So and then it will go to level up. And then when it goes to level up, it will increase by 2 times. That means if we set the level up score to 10, if the dog pass already 10, it will go up 2 times, that is 20. And then from there to level 3, that is 40. And then times 2, that it keeps going. Also not forgetting the difficulty of the level, it will increase at the same times. And the speed of the dog also increases while the difficulty increases and the level increases. Okay, for the jumping animation, these are the new parts of it that we added from our demo. As you can see, the dog is jumping. Since the dog is jumping, because we positioned the coin not at the same level as the other obstacles, we position them to be floating a little bit higher on the wireframe. So we, in order for you to get the coin while moving left and right, dodging all the obstacles, you need to jump. So while you're playing the game using the PC, as you can see on the top left corner, you have to press spacebar in order for it to trigger jump. While at the same time, while you're playing the game, you will also hear a sound. We set a sound for it when the jump is triggered. But for when using the app on your mobile, while doing the same thing, but in case of pressing the spacebar, we use swipe up. When you swipe up, it performs the same thing as a spacebar. So it also triggers that audio. Okay, for the camera motion, this is camera motion is a little bit tricky because on the first part of the game, as you play the game, I think most of you will not get it at the first time. But if you go like thoroughly look at it, it will change view from the overview to the shoulder view of the dog while playing the game. So when that first changing, it will not allow, we lock the position of the dog not to move. And also we set the terrain so that the dog can keep moving and also not bumping into any obstacles on its way. So for that, and also for the movement of the camera, we set it into 3 seconds. Sorry, that is right here, animation duration. And animation offsets, that is where the position of the camera. We set it into 0.55. So we lock everything and the transition of it is here. But for the movement of the camera, that is right below here. That is takes 2 frames, but it takes 3 seconds to complete that motion. Okay, for the calculation system, as you can see here, this is the high scores, also the bone and the coin that's been collected. And that is the score from your, like when you just play the game, that is the score. And then your score will be added to the home's home screen score. And it will keep on adding on. As it says here, the system can store the highest score. So your score cannot be returned to 0 when you start to play it again. And for the bone, as you can see here, 2. Why only 2? Because we set it, when it reaches 100, it will get 1 bone. And this is the code for it. So as I mentioned before, the difficulty level, begin it at 1, and then the max is at 10. And then score to the next level, that means if you want to go to the next level, it will be 10. But going from 10 to the next level, remember that I told you before, it times 2 the score to the next level. So this is roughly what we have, and then you will get the score, get the score for for what you've been earning, and also the score for the coin that you have collected. That's only if the player is not dead. But if the player is dead, then we add those scores to the home screen score. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate to you what we just talked about roughly. For demonstration, we're going to use Unity for the game that we play. And when you log onto the game, we're going to use the PC version because it's much more clear. Because if you use the phone Android version, it will be a little bit not clear. So the dog is dreaming of becoming a real dog. And a real dog used to love have bone. And in order for him to get a bone, the shopkeepers told him that you have to get 100 coins in order for you to have a bone. So if you don't want to watch movies, you can just press the skip button. And also, as Scott mentioned, that not forgetting about the background sound, this is just what the sounds like. And remember, our high score is 486, and our coin is 997. Okay, press play. Okay, as you can see, the camera changes from the overview to the shoulder view, and at that time you cannot move the dog left and right. So for that, in order for you to gain more points, you have to keep playing. As you can see, the dog as it reaches 10, it increases a little bit, double of its normal speed. Also, when it reaches 40, then it's double the previous score. It will also start to increase and continue on. But in order for you to get a coin, you have to jump up and down. So you can glide to okay, then one weight. The one weight was added to your previous score because your previous score was I'm not sure, but your previous score was less than one weight. So that's the sum of the previous score added your current score. Thank you very much. I'll pass it on to Beth.
Hello everyone, my name is Beth. I'm going to talk about Inventor 2. Alright, so what is App Inventor 2? It is a web-based drag and drop Android app builder that was created by the team from MIT. Now, why did we choose the App Inventor 2? The simple reason is there was a couple of us that was working on the mobile app, and we didn't have a system where we could update the changes in real time. So if you were working on something and somebody else did something else, and the changes they made might have possibly impacted your code, and there's no way to know that until you follow the latest update. So to circumvent that issue, we got something like this, which lets multiple people edit real time, so that you can see the changes as it happens and be able to change onto it without conflicting. Now, the App Inventor 2 is really easy to use. Over here you have the user interface, which has all the things you could possibly use in your app itself. This is a real-time rendering of what your app will look like, so you know for sure what the changes that you'll be making will look like at the end without having to guess or wait for it to compile. Now, over here is a list of the components that will appear on your app, the things that you put into it, and you can select the individual components and change the properties over there. We wanted to honor the project of the previous seniors by sticking to the general theme, colorful, bright characters and colors and stuff like that, but we wanted to make an earthier palette, an earth tone palette out of it, because it was something that we felt would look better with the design that we had in mind. So this is the home page, the loading page of the app. Now, all of this you see here are assets that were pulled either from the web or from Microsoft PowerPoint's item library. It was compiled using PowerPoint before being exported into an image file. Now, this is the main page of the mobile app. This is the first generation of it. As you can see, it's very simple. It looks quite ugly, frankly. And from that, you have the current version on the left. Now, on top, you have the voice recognition button, so you can issue voice commands to the robot dog. Below it, you have the motor controls to adjust how fast the motor goes, the RPM of the motor. Below it, you can issue commands for the dog to walk left, right, forward, or stop. And below that is a screen that tells you the state of your connection, your Bluetooth connection, whether you've connected or disconnected successfully. And below that is the button that allows you to take an image from the app itself, from within the app. Now I'm going to pass it to Cindy to talk about the animation of the dog on the screen.
And I'm Cindy. Today I'm going to talk about the animation of the dog. And when you open this app, you can see there's a dog over here. And actually, the dog is running like this. And how can we make the dog run? Since AI2 doesn't support GIF files, so we decided to loop the picture. And as you can see, these 9 pictures are these pictures we searched from internet, and each picture have different movements. So when we put into this code block, we put those 9 pictures into this code block. So it can display picture after picture. So it can look like the dog is running. And this is our animation of that dog. Thank you for listening. This is our Q&A time. Do you have any questions to ask?
Any questions?
Any questions?
So this is only the first group, right?
Yes.
And this is the, which one, correct?
Integration.
Integration. So that means the total solution here, right? Everything here, that's the outcome. Basically, that's the outcome. So 2 pieces mainly. One is for the game, the include, and the second one is the app. So we have not been here yet. Right? Okay, so maybe that's Wayne's problem, right? So we have 4. This is something for the first. It is integration. But this integration group is nothing related to this program or something related.
Actually, it's not related yet because they I give you the test like main design.
So in this case, I would like to suggest we would like to ask when you have all the presentations up to 4 of the kids, then we will go for the question. Okay?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Okay.
So later. So
We'll be back.
Hello everyone, I'm Ronald, the leader of the communication group, and my group members are Shem, Wayne, and Belle. Okay, and we'll talk about the communication aspect. Okay, about Unity, we have some things to talk about. We have 5 points. We have the story of the Doggy Dash, API technology, scene changes, the box colliders, and the money system. As you can see on the screen here, we have 2 points that are highlighted. That is story of Doggy Dash and the money system. So those are the newest additions with this latest version, the new additions. So we'll get right into it. Okay, let's first take another look at the story of the Doggy Dash. It's just a story about the robot dog falling asleep, and then it dreams. It dreams a dream. It is a dream about de-evolution into a puppy dog, like a real organic dog. And of course, dogs love bones. And he meets this salesperson who's offering bones to the dog for the price of 100 coins, by the way. It's not free. And that is the premise and story of Doggy Dash. Okay, now we'll talk about something called API technology. That is Application Programming Interface. What is this? This allows software to communicate with each other. Okay, so in the case of our project, Talk to a Dog V3 and Talk to a Dog version 3 and Doggy Dash. There's some communication going on thanks to the API technology. So, as you can see on the first picture here on the far left, this is the picture of the Doggy Dash game menu. This is the menu scene. In the center, we have an Android phone with Talk to a Dog V3. 2 different applications, okay? 2 different pieces of software. And if you look to the far right, you will see a real live representation of those 2 apps on your phone, okay? These are the 2 app icons on your phone. So, we want to get from Doggy Dash to Talk to a Dog version 3. So, API technology allows us to switch between those apps fluidly. So, we have a TTAD V3 button, which is Talk to a Dog version 3 button. If you press that button, it will take you directly to the Talk to a Dog version 3 application instantly. And you can thank the API script that we have launching that, for launching that. Okay, what if the app isn't on your device? What if, you know, you have Doggy Dash, right? But you don't have Talk to a Dog version 3. So, to resolve this problem, the API script that we're using will redirect the user. It will detect automatically. Once you press that TTADV3 button, it will automatically detect whether you have Talk to a Dog v3 or not, version 3 or not. So if it detects that it does not, that you do not have it on your phone, this is for phones only, it will take you directly, it will redirect you to the official download webpage. So you can download the Talk to a Dog version 3 application. And you can then launch it directly or through Doggy Dash, that TTADV3 button. And here is a snippet of our code for the API script. It's the API script. We have some Android, we have some library functions, okay, that supports Android in Unity here. Okay, basically we're trying to find the package. We need that bundle identifier. So once that bundle identifier is found, the Talk to a Dog version 3 bundle identifier, then we just run a little conditional code. And if it's there, if the application is there, if Talk to a Dog version 3 is on your phone, then run it directly. Just open it directly. If not, go to the website to download. Now I want to talk about the scene changes. Changes between scenes. The very first scene you see when you open up the Doggy Dash application is the video, the movie about the story of Doggy Dash, right? That is the video scene. And then after the video scene, we can go to the next scene, which is the menu scene. And as you can see here, this is a picture of the menu scene right here. So once you press the play button, we go to the next scene, which is to the far right, which is the game stage scene. And after you finish playing the game, or lose or die, like we say, press the menu button to go back to the menu scene. Pretty basic, right? Okay. Now this is the code, very simple code, allows switching between scenes. So in the first snippet we have on your main homepage, we have the code that allows you to open up the next scene by pressing the play button. Okay? Press the play button, launch this code, this function, this method. So on this code snippet is just basically the menu, load the menu scene method, function method. So it'll just take you back to the menu scene. Pretty simple. And finally, this last code to the right is the skip button script for the movie. So if you want to skip the movie, press the skip button, and that code will launch. And I will hand it over to Wayne to explain the box collider.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. And today I'm going to talk about the bus glider and also the money system. So what is a bus glider? Actually, bus glider is a cube-shaped collision detector. So we can set the asset or the game object. We can set a bus glider around the asset or object. So as you can see here, when the dog hits the game object, like have an enemy tag, we can give every asset specific tag. So in our game is an enemy tag. So when the dog hit a game object that have an enemy tag, he will call a death function to let the dog die. So in this picture, in our terrain, we set a lot of bus glider in our terrain. So which means that a dog have to avoid this bus glider in order to keep running, keep going to get the money. Okay, and we use the same idea from the bus glider, and we create this system within a month called money system. So when a dog touch the coin, he will get 1 coin. And in the right hand side this picture, 4 coin, everything is other. So we use the same idea. So if we wrote a script like if other tag that match player in our game, dog is a player, he will do this command. He will first to call a getCoin function to update the coin value, and also come back to trigger some collective animation and destroy the money in 1.5 seconds. Yeah, as you can see here, 1.5 seconds. Okay, and this is what we did from the Unity. And now we'll pass to Beth and Joan to do the AI tool.
Okay, thank you, Wen. And I'm here to talk about App Inventor 2. So the contents will be Bluetooth, move instruction, share function, and GPS. And the yellow one that you can see right here is actually the newest thing that we do in this version. So we'll talk about this later. And first of all, we wanted to control the robot. So the way that we can control it is by Bluetooth connection. So every Bluetooth connection, we build it in the code blocks right there. And once you click the connection button right here, this one, it will pop out a screen that will show you which devices you wanted to connect with. So right here in the picture, there are 2 devices that you can connect, but later on for the demonstration, we just only have 1 device, which is that dog. And after you click the device, which is EV3, it will pop out the connection successful picture on the left side, which is a little dog right there. And that means you connect successfully. So yes, as well we have the connection bottom. We also have this connection bottom which built by the code blocks as well. And every time that you wanted to disconnect with the robot or you wanted to change to another devices to connect with, you can click the disconnect button. As you click the disconnection button, the connection successful image right there will just disappear immediately. And this is the code blocks that shows that the visible image will be false at the time that you click the button. Okay, and once you connect with the robot, we have to introduce you the movements that we create for the robot, and which are go, left, right, and stop. These 4 are all for the movements of code blocks that we built in AI2. And as you can see right here, this is a power slider, which means that this can control the speed of the robots to be slower or faster. And this is what it shows in the control panel in our phone. If you slide it to the right side or the left side, it will become slower or faster. So I'll show you that later. And as you will know, the speed that we create for the robot is between 50 and 100. So the minimum is 50, and as you know, the 100 will be maximum value. So now I'll simply demonstrate the robot dog of its movements and how do we use it through Bluetooth. Okay, now this is the main page of our application, and we're going to start it. So once you started, we wanted to control the robot, so we'll use the connection right here. And when we clicked it, it will show us the device that you can choose, which is EV3 we're going to choose today. Okay, so now this the image in the middle of the control panel shows you that the connection is successful right now. So we're going to control it. I'm going to ask him to turn right and left. So let me try the red side first. Please look at the robot. Thank you. Okay, let me turn right. And then turn left to the middle. As you can see, this is the movements that he can move when we click the bottom. And now I wanted to test it if he can go go forward. So thank you, Ronald. So I'm going to test it for the slower speed. And stop. Okay, so now I'm going to test it for the faster speed, which I'm going to slide the power control to the right side. And go. And stop. Okay, so this is how the movements that the robot can control by the phone. And once you wanted to disconnect to the robot dock, you just directly click the disconnect button right here. And the time that you disconnect to the robot, every button in the control panel won't use at all, so you can't click anything at all. And this is the demonstration of the robot dock's movements. Now I'm going to pass it to Shane to talk about share function and GPS.
Thank you, Belle. Hi everyone, I'm Chem. And now I want to explain to you guys about our new additions to our Talk to a Dog feature, which is the share function. So what does this share function do? The function is to take a picture, and then later on it will store it in your tiny database, and after that it will redirect you to the Facebook to post it. Maybe you guys don't really understand it verbally, so I think it is better for us to do a demonstration so you guys will understand it better. Okay, John? As you can see, we don't need to be connected to Bluetooth to use the share function. So press, and here you can take a photo. Say cheese. All right. After you take the photo, you press OK. As you can see, we redirect you to Facebook, and then you can post it. Because we don't want to pause it now, we want to continue my presentation. Let's just continue the presentation. And you discard it. Later we can take a photo again together. Alright. Okay, now moving on to the next one. I want to explain about our new addition again in our Talk to a Dog feature, which is GPS. So what is this GPS? This GPS can make the robot dog have the sensor to detect the distance to your cell phone, which has the talk to a dog feature. How does the dog do that? It needs the DGPS. So what is DGPS? DGPS is an item that is compatible only to Lego items, which is Lego NXT, EV3, and Mindstorm. So it cannot use the other one. So why is it the DGPS? Because DGPS is compatible to AI2. And as you can see how it functions is, it will redirect you to launch the Google Map. And after it launches the Google Map, the robot dog will try to detect your cell phone, where it is, and it will find the shortest path to your cell phone as possible. But too bad, actually I want to show everyone here how this DGPS works, because of the offer budget and the price of the DGPS, we cannot afford to buy it, so we are really sorry about that. And thank you everyone. That is all for the communication group. Now, I want to pass it to the voice recognition group.
Thank you, Shem. So now I'm going to talk about the voice recognition. But first of all, I'm need to say sorry because I'm sick, so my voice is not clear enough today. So my group have me, John, and Vida. Okay.
Connection to the robot dog first. So we will let Carl to help us to protect the robot dog, and Vida will connection to the dog. And then after the connection successful, it will show the image in here. Connection successfully. So now we can make the voice recognition. And we will try the forward first. And as you can see, the dog will not only can detect the forward, now you can truly make a sentence for give the comment to the dog, and not only you can only say the left, right, or the forward, these keywords. You can truly make a sentence. So we will try the right one. As you can see, the robot dog will turn right. So and we will try the new feature now, the turn around. As you can see, the robot dog will turn around. So now we will try the last one, turn to the back. As you can see, the robot dog will turn to the back. So now this is the voice recognition part demo. And now I will introduce the code block.
Looks like there's a time lag between the command and the action.
You mean the
time difference between the command and the action?
It's
slow CPU. Oh, slow CPU.
Yeah, actually, yeah, as Dr. Liu said, because the voice recognition have to need a library for recognizer, but in EV3 we cannot build the voice recognizer in that, so we can only do it on phone, and then the phone will send the result to the robot dog.
Can you understand the Chinese?
Yeah.
Show some.
But because the voice recognizer have the default language, which is I set to the English because the percentage to make the result correct. So if you want to use the Chinese to make the comment, you have to open your Chinese keyboard and then yeah. Type again, yeah. This part we have some problem. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And now I will explain the code block. And here, as you can see, is the code block for the voice recognizer. And each block will compare with the one keywords. The first one is the forward. So if the AI2 detects the result, the sentence have the forward, these keywords. So it will do the forward movement. And then when the AI2 get the result, is the right side here is the turnaround, and it will do the turnaround. So basically, every feature in here is the same. So it just detect the result that the Google Recognizer showed it on the blank, and then it will do the motion. So here is the voice recognition part. So thank you. And I will give it to Marita.
Hi, my name is Marita, and from mechanical group, our group members are Jeff, he is our group leader, and Ben, Wendy, and me. For our contents, we will talk about the robot dog, components, and then demo. I'm going to introduce our ideas and designing of our robot dog. We watch many videos on YouTube and other websites looking for ideas how we design our robot dog. From these 6 different designing of our robot dogs, first one was the first robot we created, and we changed and create the second robot because it doesn't look like a robot. And the same thing with the second picture is it doesn't look like a robot dog, so we changed again and create the one in the third picture. This robot can only stand up and sit down, but we want our robot to move forward and turn around, turn left or turn right. So we change it again and oh, sorry. change it again to the fourth picture. And this robot can only move forward, but it's difficult to turn right or turn left. So we change it again to the one in the fifth picture. And we use the wheel, and this will help us help our robot dog to work as what we want. For the last picture, we use touch sensor on the tail. So, because if the robot dog reach the destination and it will stop, but if you still want the dog to move or to start moving again, just press the button on the tail and it will start moving again. For the leg development was the changes we made for the legs. As the first pictures, as I mentioned before, can only move forward, but it's difficult to turn left or right. So we use the small wheels, and same thing happened. Can only move forward, but difficult to turn. So we change the small wheels to the big wheels, and this is our final designing for our robot dog. For our components, I will give it to Ben to talk about it.
Thank you, Marita. My name is Ben, and I will introduce a component for our robot dog. The main body is an EV3 brick. It is a control center like our brain can give the dog command and also provide the electric power. On the front, it has a A to D port for the motor. On the back, it has a 1 to 4 port for the sensor. And we can choose which sensor we want to use and connect it. And the screen is a user interface. We can write some single command and also can view the state of each port. And the EV3 brick provides Bluetooth function, allow user using mobile phone connecting. And the dog size we're using ultrasonic sensor. The sensor will emit ultrasonic wave to the target and receive wave back from the target. The sensor will count the time of emission and recession to measure the distance between the dog and object. For example, if we set a number about 10 centimeters, when the distance is less or equal to 10, the dog will stop. And the reason we're using that is to protect our robot dog. And the latest version we add new sensor, which are color sensor and touch sensor. The reason we add that is we got the idea about when we call the dog's name, the dog can or cannot face to us. So we try to make it happen. And after that, one sensor called DGPS provided by a Lego company can achieve it. But we didn't have this sensor. Therefore, we did some change. We built a simple map, and the dog will move through these two sensors to the destination we designed. For example, the color sensor will guide the robot dog along the color path, and the touch sensor will let the dog restart the path finding protocol when it stops. And next, I will introduce two sensors in detail. First one, how the color sensor works. The sensor will detect 7 different colors, also serves as a light sensor by detecting light intensity. And we're using different light intensity for dog to detect and following the color path. Second, the touch sensor is a support part for our robot dog. And the cross button that the user can press and release. And when the dog will detect the button press or not to do the next movement. So when the dog starts on the destination, we can press the button and the dog will restart and keep going. And next, I will pass to Wendy to introduce a demo.
Thanks, Ben, and I'm Wendy, and I'm going to talk the demo part. And you can see this is our mat. And the black tag is the path, and the yellow tag is the ending point. And at first we used the format as a surface, but the friction was too high. The dog cannot move smoothly, so we use this plastic ball to replace the format. And why we choose the white color surface and black tag because white and black are the contrast color. The color sensor can easily detect the black tag on the white surface. And before we use the AI tool to write our robot doors program, but now we are using the EV3 to write the color sensor program. The reason is AI tool color sensor block do not support the necessary loop function that we need. Because of AI tool lack of the proper loop function, the door can only execute the command at a time when it dictates to a color. But EV3 provides a looping function that allows the door to execute the command consecutively. That's why we choose the EV3 to run the color sensor program. And what is color sensor program? And you can see there are many blocks in color sensor, and each block has a different function. Like the green one is the action block. It controls the motor rotation. And the orange one is the follow box. It controls the follow of the program. And the yellow one is the sensor block. And it allows the program read the input from the sensor. And we combine each block together to build the color sensor program. And next, I will pass to Jeff.
Okay, thanks Wendy, and hello everyone, my name is Jeff. I'm going to start a demo. Before I start the demo, I want to give you some basic idea about our robot program. And in the left part, there's a box, which means if the color sensor detects the black color, and the robot dog will start to operate and go straight. And in the right part, there's a box, which means if the color sensor detects the yellow line, and the robot dog will brake and stop. And as you can see, there's a yellow line at the end point. So right now, I'm going to demo right now, and I'll invite Ben to help me do demo. And as you can see, there's a color sensor below the robot dog. And this color sensor have two functions. One is emit line to the black lines, and the other one is reflect line from the black lines. So these two functions will perform simultaneously. So reflect line will be judged by the color sensor. So if the color sensor detects there's a white color, and it will turn right. But if the color sensor detects it's a black color, so it will turn left. So the robot dog will turn like right, left a little bit. And as you can see right now, he stopped because after the color sensor detects the yellow color, so it can brake and stop. And I'm going to keep going to introduce our program. And this function is introduced about the color sensor, and it can emit light to a target, reflect light from a target, and the reflect light will be also judged by the color sensor. So the color sensor for the program is about 1 to 10, and the white color is about 70 to 80. So after the robot dog starts to move, and it will move to the second function. And the B is represent the color parameter. And after the robot dog starts to move, it will do some calculation. And if the outcome is positive, which means the white color has been detected, so the robot dog will turn right a little bit. Conversely, if the outcome is negative, which means the black color has been detected, so the robot dog will turn left a little bit. And in the right part, there's a function, which means the power. The initial power we set is about 25, because we have tried many variables to set our power. But we think 25 is the best variable for our robot dog power, because if we set the power is too high, the robot dog will out of control. Because what we want is to let the robot dog to be as stable as possible. So the power should be set lower. And this is the after detecting. Originally, we want the robot dog to go back to the starting point from the end point. But after I discussed with my group member, we think this is a little bit time consuming because it just do the same thing from the starting point to the end point. So we ignored this demo, but we still put it into our program. And this part, there's a box we didn't put it into our PPT because I just mentioned it in the previous slide. There's a box which means after the color sensor detects the yellow color, and the robot dog will brake and stop. And how the robot dog brake and stop, and in this function we explain to you. The B plus C, which means both sides motor will brake and stop at the same time. So the robot dog can stop successfully. And originally, we want the robot dog to go back to the starting point. So we need some action or trigger to the robot dog. So we just put the touch sensor to the robot dog. So after we press the touch sensor, and the robot dog can operate and go straight again. So after we press the touch sensor, the robot dog will stop about 0.5 seconds. And after the robot dog stop 0.5 seconds, and it will go back to the loop and do the same thing, detect the black and the white lights. And right now, I also invite Ben to do the demo a little bit. So as you can see, after he pressed the touch sensor, and the robot dog will start to move again and start to detect the two colors between the white and the black colors. And this is end of our demo, and thanks for listening. And now this is the Q&A time. If you have any question, you can ask us.
I think all of you did a good job, and I see you combine many components into the common goal. It's very good. But for each group, I want to know, can you tell us what's the most difficult? What's the most difficult part? What's the most difficult part for your group? Each group, yeah. For each group.
We start from integration group. Because we say that what's the most difficult?
Don't worry, you guys are doing great. Just answer the question.
I think the main difficult part for group is getting the coding system to work. Yeah, so far. And because for all the other tutorials that we've been looking for and the other coding stuff that we've been following, the coding system is not installed in those so it's we really need to really look into it, because it's totally new thing that we added onto it, and also it's like floated from it's not mounted to the gross level that as the other obstacles that have been, but it's also mobile within the I think that's the only.
I am Ronald from the communication group. Yes, we the most difficult part, working with the Unity software. You know, we had to learn how to code in C#. There are JavaScript scripts that we can write. We had to learn how to do that API script. Yeah, that took a lot of time. I'd say the most difficult portion was, it's hard. A lot of the things are difficult, actually. Yeah, I would say, if we could combine them all together, I'd say it's all bad. Okay, I would say probably the API script. Yeah, because at one point I thought it was impossible. I was like, it's not working. I have to Unity to communicate with AI2. Completely different. We have to read the APK files and such. Yeah, I'd say the API part was probably the most difficult. Yeah, the box collider stuff too. So yeah. So I believe the API part is the most difficult part.
Okay, hello, I'm Joan. I'm from Voice Group. And for the most difficult part we face is how to build the recognized library in the robot dog. Because at first we think that if we want to successfully recognize, we have to have several samples for the voice, like the forward. We have to make so many people to say few forward these words. So after we tried, we found we have main problem to building in the robot dog.
So you collect how many words to train your dog?
That is the problem because after we try about 10 times, 20 times, the result still not true. The result will, if you say go forward, then the result will be wrong. So this is the biggest problem we have to face. So that's the reason we tried the AI tools just directly link to the Google translation and then use the Google recognizer to show the result.
So do you have the correction rate for the voice recognition? Do you have this statistics?
No, we didn't have it.
I think you can do this. Yeah.
Okay.
It is not 100% correct.
Yeah.
The correct rate is about 90 or?
It's very, very low.
Very, very low.
Yeah, so that's the reason I didn't understand. Yeah.
But for your demo, you correctly recognize the...
Yeah, because we just link to the Google recognizer. Yeah, so Google actually had already... You have to connect to the internet first. So you just send the result to the Google, and then...
That's great.
Yeah, so... Yeah, they had already built a nice one. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think for our typically for our mechanic group is we can divide to two stages. And the first stage is about the leg problem, because originally we want a robot dog to move like a real dog. So we just try many ways to construct our robot dog, and this is our last version right now. And the second stage is about the color sensor, because originally we used the two colors to let the color sensor to detect, but the two colors the range is too similar. The color parameter is too similar. And right now the last version is for the black one is 1 to 10 color parameter, and the white color is about 70 to 80. So there's a lot of range. So for the color sensor, it won't be detect error. But originally, if we use the two similar color, it will detect error.
Okay. I want to give you some suggestions. I think the most difficult thing for me is to read your document. Firstly, the content of your document is difficult from your PPT in many places. So I think you should add more detailed content to your document. This is the first one. And the second one is your document, no page number.
Yeah,
no page number. So I want to search 36. I cannot find it. And no reference. I think you need to reference, for example, some papers or books, So no reference. And each chapter, I think must include at least 2 sections. I think many chapters has just 1 section. So you can extend the content for each chapter.
Okay, we will revise it because before we are too focused on the code or something like that. So so this part we will revise it.
Yeah. And some page you just list table, and no any descriptions for this table. So also need to modify this. Okay.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
But I think you all did a good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Directly, you got question?
So I think it's a good presentation by you in general. Okay, everybody have good articulation, speak very clearly. But the one thing I would want to, you might be able to improve on is I don't know, you divide it into different groups to present. So, but sometimes we don't, the flow is kind of,
I know, because because the schedule is like this one. So actually I want to like the demo time. We start from Unity and finish Unity, and we keep going to AI to end demo.
I understand. So by the future, so if you guys do any presentation, you should have a logical flow.
Okay,
so
no problem.
It'd be easier for us to understand. And I also like how you try to have a background story to try to tie together the two projects a little bit. That's kind of interesting. And also like and from like the previous presentation, I think at this stage, I think you have a much more complete project, especially I think for the 3D game there. Feel more like a game, not just like an animation video. And but for the robot dog part, and I have just a couple quick questions first. Like I just wonder, because from the demonstration, I don't see like does it actually stop on its own, or after you give the command, it'll stop by giving the command?
Oh, because sometimes the ultra sensor will detect the mouse because the mouse is too tough. So we decide to don't use the ultra sensor. So maybe we will redesign the mouse, and it will, when he face the obstacle, it will stop directly.
Okay. So how about voice command? Does it stop by voice command also, or?
Yeah, it also can stop by the voice control, but because the time and the distance, you have to say stop and then wait the Google to recognize and then translate the comment to the robot dog. So it cannot stop immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you could also press the button for it to stop, right? Or
yeah, also can press the button.
Okay. And did you have a back function before, or there was never a back function? Go back. I mean, you could go forward, right?
We can edit, but we think that my initial idea about the dog when go back is a little bit weird, so I deleted it. But we can edit. Is use the same idea. So
no, that's fine. Just like the way. Okay. All right. And one last question I have for you, for each of the group is, maybe can you tell us like one thing, like after you have finished the project right now, one thing that you think you could improve on in the future? You may want to do better on. What's that one thing?
in the future, or?
Yeah, just one. I mean, right now, afterwards.
Start from every group. Integration.
Well, I guess I can say this because this will be left to the next group to work on, so we don't have to slave over it. Maybe have the actions of the dog within the game translate into the dog in the dog. So like in the game, if the dog is jumping, the mechanical dog itself also jumps. Yeah, that's difficult, right? The idea alone is like very head scratching. So I'm saying this because I can offload it to them and I don't have to think about it.
This may be something like you don't think you don't have enough time to do this time, but you wish you had time to do more. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh. It would be nice if we can create an app the Doggy Dash app like this and upload it to the App Store and Android, Google Play Store for people to try. And don't forget, they just need to download that application, because after they're redirected, they will automatically be redirected to the Talk to a Dog version 3 page to download it. So it's a free download, right? So we can upload the Doggy Dash game onto Google Play Store or the Apple Store and allow more people to use our product.
The reason why we can upload because the price is too expensive. It's $800. So we need to spend this cost to upload.
We have to have a financial plan. Yeah. For the voice group, we think one thing we can improve just like the doctor says, the recognition speed. Yeah. So because when you make the comment with the cell phone and translate and transfer this image to the robot dog, it takes lots of time. So actually, like the stop function, it's take lots of time to make it stop. But maybe robot dog had already gone or nothing. Yeah. So this is the problem we have to be improved. Yeah.
I think we want to improve the legs because as you can see, we're using the wheel to control the leg. But what we want is to make the robot dog legs move like a real dog legs, because we just find some tutorial from the Google Lego website and YouTube, and they just indicate it can move like a real dog. But the problem for us is about lack of the component. So we don't have enough component to construct a robot dog.
So, does that really answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Do you have more to
No,
contribute?
I think, because so far, I think it's better to learn object-oriented program like very thoroughly, and it will really help in coding for the project that you guys will be coming up with. Yeah, because all the other previous seniors all use oriented programs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you. So that'll be all from me. Thanks.
Any comment?
Actually, I do have the concerns, but only one question. I'm just curious, what is the major jobs or the roles for the integration team? Maybe you guys are the first to present, and that went quickly, right? So it seems that all the others, they have done something, but for the integration team, for me, it's a little bit weird right now. Okay, so that's the only question. And I do have the concerns. For the concerns, I suggest you just take the note. If you want to answer, that's fine. If you don't, still, that's my concern, okay? The first one is 4 of them. The first one is the IPR. There are the images, there are the GIF files, there are the music, the sound things, okay? And there are the software like Zoom Music Studio and AI2, those. So my concern is everything should be, you have to consider about the intellectual property right, okay? We are students, we are MCU, we cannot try anything here, okay? So please make sure, everything, pictures, stuff, software, everything, IPR, you with me? Okay, that's the first concern. The second one is the document, which the Dr. Lee mentioned several of them. Is this a proposal or something, or a draft? Should not be a proposal, should be a draft for your final. Today is final. We don't have, unless you like, we don't have the so-called next shot or something, right? And the titles like this, proposal, I don't know, okay? And if you check the table of contents, and it was just terrible. Okay, so not just the editing errors. So in addition to like these sections, the chapters names, okay, and I'd like to say something more, okay? The guy is called Ron. He is a approver. I'd like to knock on your head. So how can you approve this kind of thing? Maybe I was kidding, but it is seriously, your presentation good enough, but this would make maybe I don't know 35 points minus. Okay, so that's the problem about the document. And I realized we don't have the things like a fixed specification. Then we go for it. It's called evolving, changing every day. But still, we do need the things called spec. But here, yeah, you have to add. Maybe you have 10 versions or something. Okay, you do have that. I know that. Okay. So that's concern number 2 about documentation. Concern number 3 is you're talking about the actions about the dogs. Okay, so you may have problems because in your demonstration, the dog cannot go back to his original position, or you have to hold on or something. You have to think about the basic instruction set of the dog. That things are not good enough. Maybe just some of them. If you say that forward stop, make a right turn, maybe that's good enough. Maybe 3 of them is good enough. But why? The actions of the dog should be complete. You have to think about this first, then go for implementation. Right? Okay. The last one is it's at the end of this year. Okay, and the semester ends 2 or 3 more weeks. What do you think about this project? Well, we are too close, right? Should be closing something. So what are the major works you think that the project can be closed? We have the New Year Festival. Then, okay, so suddenly the January 15th next year is coming. This one doesn't work, right? So how do you think you're going to do the closing work of this project? Closing is the key job. Okay, you have everything, but how can you say that we closed? Okay, that's my 4 concerns. And one more suggestion is if you are still interested to follow up something like Dr. Lin just mentioned, like this robot, you want to do something more, okay? Dogs, still there. You can use them. You have 1 more semester to go, right? Not for the project, but you can try to write a student paper or something, submit something. Still, you can use your current works. This one is for the whole team, right? But if you can have your own student paper, that will be good in your future days. Not even you're going to do your graduate study, or you want to find a job, something. So you have, otherwise what are you going to do for next semester? Right? So it's a good try. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Thank you for the comments. Okay, I also just follow Dr. Liu said, you may write a good paper, submit to the workshop that Ming Chuan has, I think in next spring, right? Before the schools.
Before they graduate.
Yeah, maybe before the graduate. Before we graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to submit.
Okay. I still have a question for the integration group. Okay, when you show that the dog is running and jumping, okay, I can tell that when the dog is landing, it will be land and immediately shift to the left. Okay, what would happen with that? My question? When the dog is running and then jump, okay, supposed to be land at here and then continue, right? But, when the dog jump and land to here and shift to the left a little bit and then running.
Oh, because we bought the mobile mind, so not all the function of it is like working, like as a normal dog should be, like landing properly, and then if I want to turn right, like turning right. So if it's turn right, it's just like shifted right. So like the movement, the changing movements, because sometimes if you're landing, there's an obstacle in front of you, so you need to the dots that are obstacles. So same times when you press it, but the dog's action doesn't really.
But the actual dog, when it's running, jumping, will continue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not shift to the left a little bit and then start running.
Oh yeah, when it's jumping. Oh yeah, as I mentioned, because when it's jumping and when it's landing and collide onto enemy tech obstacles, it will die automatically. So while jumping, we can also shift it left and right at the same time. So.
Okay, and I have a question for the last group, mechanical group, right? Okay, then you can tell that the detector can detect the line and follow the line, right? How about if you see the optical in the front?
If we see the optical, if we turn on the ultrasonic sensor, then it will stop. Because we just closed the ultrasonic sensor.
No, so I say if you see an optical in the front.
In front.
Because looks like the robot just follow the line, right?
Yes.
Okay, but the sensor is not. Okay, the sensor is just sense the ground. Okay, let's say I have an optical in the front object, in the front. Okay, do I have to stop or what?
I think it will stop because we didn't write it into our program.
We can do it, but we
you didn't do it, right?
Yeah, we just really on AI to add Inventor to
the ultrasonic sensor that was not turned on, it does the job. If it detects an obstacle at it's adjustable. So for example, if it senses something like 10 centimeters in front of it, it'll immediately stop. We have to stop that. But we took it off because the mouth was interfering with the echo. So it kept bouncing back and forcing the mouth to stop.
Yeah.
You just need to move the mouth a bit, turn the ultrasonic sensor back on, and then fix that again so that it will stop.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, this is a very interesting project. I like it very much, and you guys did a very good job, But there's something I need to I think back to the document. The document is very important, because the follower can follow. If you can write so well, And I think as the Dr. Lee mentioned, that looks like you need more discussion about the project because it would have difficulty to understand what you are doing. You did a great job. You have a lot of achievement, but it doesn't show on the document. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, and if you borrow some ideas from someone else, you need to cite for it. You make a reference for it. So that's what Dr. Lee mentioned, that you need to have a list of references. That's very important. Whenever you write a report or you make a speech or give a talk, you need to address the references that you have. That's a typical, okay?
Okay.
And also that, okay, for the structure of the document, okay, you have several parts. Yeah, you have several parts. Okay, each part, the first part you have an introduction, and then you don't have an introduction for the second part, third part, okay, and then the last part is supposed to be part 4, and then you have a meeting minutes, but you don't show the part 4, okay? Maybe part 4 is a conclusion. I think you need to have a summary, conclusion, future work for a separate part, okay? And then you have a appendix, okay, to put the meeting minutes in the appendix, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and also that. I'll just give some example. For like the page on the 1.4, confirm project feasibility. Okay, then you mention there are a lot of items you may have a risk involved and potential and a solution for the potential risk and so forth. That structure is horrible. Okay, you mentioned that okay, this is the potential risk for each item. Okay, and here are